XX Jumbo Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Don't eat it.
Yeah, and it's like unfortunate because there's definitely people who.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 668th episode of the Pokemon Podcast. It's super effective. I'm your host, Steve. At this rate, maybe we'll go longer than Giant Bomb will. With me is Bobby.
Hello. I haven't played Pokemon Sleep for like a week.
I noticed. I saw.
Yeah.
Have you been sleeping? That's the question.
I have been sleeping, but
good.
I have not been playing, and I'm kind of okay with that. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Oh my gosh. It's B square today. We have Bobby here, and then we have Bob back.
Hello. My credit score dropped 2 points because of Pokemon Pocket. So we're off to a wonderful start in May.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Bob, good to have you back. We have Celestial Guardians to talk about. And we do have some Scarlet and Violet news. We got some Black and White remakes confirmed. Bobby will be able to fill us in on that. And then we have some Pokemon Go news. That's kind of our episode for today. So a lot still, even though none of that is ZA, but the Pokemon train does not stop.
You really clickbaited that summary there without explaining why the Black and White remakes thing is what you said.
Yeah, sorry, it's TCG news. I figured people would get the joke eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah, when we get to the segment. Let's talk about Celestial Guardians. I believe this is the biggest set since Genetic Apex.
Yeah, I think so. Because SmackDown, Space-Time SmackDown, other way around, wasn't as big as this one, right?
It looks like I think Genetic. I'm just looking up some breaking news stats here. Genetic had 286 cards. It looks like.
Okay.
Celestial's on 239. So it's almost almost close to Genetic. But yeah, if you look at with Space Time SmackDown, that was the lowest of the main sets.
Got it.
What was that, like 180?
About 207.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Not bad.
Yeah. A3. That's the like.
Right, like the set number, or like I don't know, what would you call that? What is that indicator?
It probably is set number, but my question is, how long are they going to continue doing this? Like, at what point do you say it's time to roll with B? Let's just drop him with B, everybody, and go with it. So,
yeah. I don't know. I wonder if they'll follow with like how they do it in like the regular, like the physical TCG. Mm-hmm. It's like when the eras switch over for that, will then in Pocket the sets become B1 and follow from there.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it could be also with rotation if the game ever decides to do any type of rotation for competitive or battling. It's like, hey, you can't use A1 cards, you can't use A2 cards going forward. So yeah, we'll just see what happens.
You can't use any A cards going forward. We're a B format.
Good
only.
luck.
One day.
So just a full disclosure, I think I'll do a full disclosure for the three of us. I think the Pokemon Company has sent us all about $50 worth of gems. What is it? 300. Sorry, gold. 300 gold.
300 gold.
Which I think is about $50.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's your disclosure that we all got paid to talk positively about this game. That's not true. I have some negative things to say. I will say that this is probably the most fun I've had in Pocket since Mythical Island.
Is this the negative part? This is the most fun you've had in this game. And I hate it. I hate that I'm having so much fun.
I hate that I'm having fun. No, I like this set. I think both collection wise and battling wise. I mean, those are like two things you can really only do with the game is collecting and battling. And then like the 6 month feels like 6 years with this game.
Yeah.
The 6 month anniversary where they're giving like way more hourglasses and free stuff, and I think eventually you get the Rayquaza with like 50 wins, but they don't even have to be real matches. They can just be the CPU matches.
Yeah, I was real happy to see that because I don't know why, just in my head when I saw the win 50 battles task, I thought, oh, that's PvP. Just because like the only other times we've had a win 50 battles reward has been PvP in the past. So when I saw people start saying like, thanks auto battle to get their card, I was like, yes, I don't have to do 50 PvP battle. I don't have to win 50 PvP battles. So that's great.
This is one of the more friendly free to play features they rolled out for the game. With the amount of hourglasses you get, because you can pretty much. My partner is free to play. I would say 9% of the time, but she was able to just rack up 10 pull packs just by completing the missions for the game. So that's really good because yes, you can put a lot of money into this game and still not be happy. But if you're free to play, I think this is a great time to get into it and start playing.
Yeah.
I saw that. Not that I didn't include this in the show notes. It's only one really talking point. I saw that at this point in time, Pocket was 14% ahead of Pokemon Go in revenue at the 6 month mark.
Wow, that's crazy.
Which you could maybe argue that Pokemon Go would have made more money if that app wasn't down for almost a full month when it launched.
That's true. Good call.
Where like everyone who made a Trainer Club account was just permanently locked out for like
That's
2.5
right.
weeks.
I forgot if you only had Trainer Club account, you couldn't log in for some period of time.
Oh man.
And if you had like a Google account, it was just like a pure gamble whether the game would open or not.
Yep.
Yep. It's good times.
Yeah, there's a lot of standout cards. I think the one we talked about last week, I don't think we don't think I exaggerated, or I don't think we exaggerated that like Rare Candy would be the dominant card of the set. Now it is.
Shocker.
I mean, it's still, if you want to focus on the negatives of everyone complaining that EX was annoying to play against or too powerful to the point where people made a group channel or like what was that?
Oh, like the passcode.
The passcode of no EX.
Yeah.
So the fact that no EX passcode got so popular because people didn't like EX, and now, of course, the internet, being the internet, did a big 180 on. We don't like Rare Candy, even though this is like the thing that was asked for the last 6 months.
Oh, wait, are you saying that Pokemon fans are just not happy, Steve?
Yes.
Okay.
Can't believe it.
I know.
This is
shocking
news to me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's hard for me to take that stuff real serious. Mostly because it has been glaringly obvious how most of these players have never actually played the real TCG.
Yeah.
Like this is their first time playing a card game. And I think what stood out to me is when somebody in my Twitch chat asked, like, wow, was there any card in this set that like stood out to you? And I think for a lot of people, that would have been like Oricorio, or that would have been like Banette or Baynet. But for me, I was like, no, because every single one of these cards have existed at some point in the normal TCG.
Sure.
So it's when you're playing the normal TCG, like there will be a card. I promise you. I'm gonna say it right now. There will be a card in TCG Pocket that will say the ability shuts off everyone's ability. That will definitely be a card, and I promise you that Pocket players will be shocked. You won't believe what this ability does, but that ability has always been in the trading the normal trading card game, right? That ability is usually a Vileplume or usually a Garbodor, and it's like this ability shuts off everyone else's ability, and that's what it does, and that's fine. Like Oricorio's ability, Safeguard, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's EX. That, I think, right now is Mimikyu in the current TCG. Yeah. And before that, it was a different Pokemon. And before that, it was a different Pokemon. And sometimes instead of EX, it'll say, like, GX or like whatnot.
Whatever, yeah.
So, like, it is interesting to see, like, a whole new set of players be like, this is a crazy mechanic, when I'm just like, oh, yeah, like, sure, that's like always existed.
Yeah. Well, I think that goes to show that this is exactly going how the Pokemon Company wanted it to go, right?
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
You're introducing a whole new bunch of people to Pocket, right? They're getting into it. They're getting into the battling. They're getting into the collecting. And then what's the next step? You go out, if you can find them, you go out and you buy some physical TCG cards. And then maybe you end up jumping into that TCG at one point in the future. So, you know, it's like cool to see that. Just cool to see like a new group of people being brought to a really fun aspect of the Pokemon universe. Unfortunately for those people, again, if they want to make that transition to the physical TCG, good luck finding cards. But when you are able to find cards, you'll be excited.
Oh, here's another ability that will for sure come. It will be you cannot damage Pokemon on the bench. Oh, which I think in the current TCG is Manaphy. And
interesting. Okay, I don't know that I've actually ever paid attention to a card like that before.
It's like a Veil ability, something Veil, I think it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Wave Veil. That's what it is. Wave Veil.
And so you can't damage any Pokemon on the bench when that ability is in play.
Correct. Yeah, so that would be like probably the most prominent card right now in the TCG or in Pocket would be like Decidueye, because Decidueye can do like 100 damage.
So good.
This is wild.
It's so good.
But I think what... Oh, go ahead, Bob.
No, I was going to say, because I recently went back to TCG Live just a few days ago, because I was like, oh yeah, I like Pocket. Let me go back to TCG Live.
Oh.
And man, did I have to rework my brain in that game, because I was playing I was doing a Goldango deck in TCG Live, and I'm like, man, I gotta pull these combos off exactly right, or I'm not gonna have enough damage to take out your Ogerpon EX. But to Bobby's point, no, I agree. I think what Pokemon is doing here is kind of showing the rest of the world, hey, we have much more outside of this game that you can get involved with, and you can buy cards, you can play the physical game. I still think there's a great thing about holding physical cards in your hand and playing the card game. There's something more rewarding with that. But I think also, before I wrap up this point, I think the reason why they didn't give my beloved Mimikyu the Safeguard ability was Psychic was just way too overpowered the last meta. So I figured, why not give it to a different Pokemon type? Electric, here you go, enjoy it.
No. Psychic overpowered in this game? Never happens.
I'm surprised they didn't do like a secondary Misty at this point.
We have Team Rocket, Grunt, and Misty, so what's next?
I think the reason I also like this set so much is it does feel like there's just more tools to play with. There's more held items. There's more held items. There's more tool cards. There's more tool cards. There's more supporters. we're still with 14 card decks, and when I say like every deck is 14 cards, it's because you need 2 Pokeballs and you need 2 Professor Oaks. I don't think there's ever been like a situation where you're like, I don't want 2 Professor Oaks, right? So
True,
like
very
you still have like 14 card decks, but the influx of supporters and tool cards and item cards really at least feels like you have more to work with if you wanted to be creative or you wanted to just not run Giratina Darkrai for the rest of your life.
Yep.
It definitely, I would say from a competitive side, and I think Steve, you mentioned this earlier, it's a complete 180. Like I have seen so many different decks in my ranked battles, or even just doing basic battling just with people out of the ladder. Seeing a lot of old cards being used more. I was not a fan of Stoke Charizard when it came out. I always used the Charizard EX from Genetic Apex in my climbs. And now I'm seeing a lot of Stoke Charizard because also the game is faster because you are essentially skipping one turn with a rare candy to get into your stage 2. And with that Pokemon example, you have like at least 4 energy on your Pokemon at that time. That's insane. So I think a lot of great tool cards, a lot of even some new EXs out of here, but you start to see a lot more stage 2 Pokemon being played. And one of the things that I do enjoy going up against is a non-EX deck because it takes more time to win with a non-EX deck because everything's worth 1 point. So how are you going to manage your gameplay? How are you going to manage your inventory of cards and try to stay the course and win against 3 non-EX Pokemon knockouts is a challenge sometimes. But no, I've been loving it. It's been great.
Yeah, I think this feels like the first real, even though we had Space Time Smackdown, I feel like this feels like the first real proper set since Genetic Apex.
100% agree. There was
Right?
something about
Like-
Space Time Smackdown that didn't feel... It felt like a glorified mini set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still feel like Space Time Smackdown like was supposed to be with Triumphant Light, but then they needed something for Pokemon Day. So they're like, you know what I'm saying? Like it could have been. I'm not saying that they did it that way. I'm saying like it could have Space Time Smackdown and Triumphant Light could have been one set together as like one real proper set. But obviously they wanted to focus on Arceus for Triumphant Light and have that whole mechanic be new and make it a Pokemon Day thing. But definitely feels like the first proper set since Genetic Apex. And obviously I'm biased because I love Alola more than anything. So every one of these artworks is like amazing.
Yep.
All the illustration rares, the 1 stars basically, are beautiful, and the 2 stars and everything. There's a couple, I think at least one where if you actually were to put 2 of the cards, I won't spoil which cards it is, but if you put the 2 cards next to each other, it actually is like one picture. You know how they do that sometimes where like multiple card arts together are actually like one picture. So there are 2 cards. They're the more rare type of cards, where like they create one image if you were to actually like have those cards sitting next to each other, which I always think is really cool when the artists do stuff like that as well. So set's great. I haven't done a whole bunch of battling yet. Definitely going to jump more into that with again, I'm more on the solo battle side. Like I like doing the solo battles a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not as much of a PvP player. So we'll definitely be jumping more into the solo battles this week to get the Rayquaza and everything. But definitely a fan so far.
Yeah, I did 30 ranked battles in a night.
Wow.
And
Nice.
I don't agree with anyone saying like now the game is just whoever gets rare candy first.
Yeah.
I super don't agree with that. I think the game feels exactly how it felt 6 months ago with different cards. Like you could argue that like, okay, whoever gets rare candy first wins, but before that you could argue whoever doesn't brick and has an EX wins, right?
Yeah.
But that's how it is in the real trading card game, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly like whoever has a good hand and then can accelerate their hand wins, right?
Yeah. that's part of the game, right? It was whoever could set up Celebi quicker, right? Whoever gets Superior set up on the bench quicker for Celebi is going to win, right? Because all of a sudden you have 9 grass energy on your Celebi or 8 grass energy on your Celebi or whatever. You know,
whoever
like,
set up Gyarados quicker behind Adrenaline to slow that other person down would like win.
There's always that possibility, that aspect of it.
So no, I didn't feel like, because I was running Incineroar, by the way. I was running 2 Littens, 2 Incineroars, Rare Candy. I put the deck in Slack. But no, all the games felt like normal. I didn't feel like there's 100% games, right, where like you start with a Litten, they might start with, Cosmog, and then on turn 2 they have Solgaleo, and you didn't have a Professor Oak, you didn't have a Pokeball, like it, and you just concede, and it's no big deal. Like I think that's why I like Pocket, because it gives me like very big Clash Royale feels, where like with Clash Royale your game is going to be exactly 3 minutes unless it goes to overtime, and overtime is just like an extra minute. So like every game possible is 4 minutes. And as much as I love the regular trading card game, like if you got a 10-minute match, that's like quick, right? Like if you donk somebody, that's like incredibly rare. But like the normal TCG, you can have like a 25-minute, 30-minute match, and you're like, oh, that's a long time.
That's the biggest holdback for me with the physical TCG is just the length of matches, because for the most part, when I'm sitting down to open something on my phone, I don't have 30 or 40 minutes to play one match. Like I want to get through a few things in that period of time, and with the physical TCG, it's just it's just too much time for like the way that I play games on my phone, basically.
That's why I love Pocket, because it is that fast. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links back in like 2016.
Duel Links.
Duel. The duel. And now, listen, Duel Links was fun. And then eventually that turned into a whole speed duel format, which I think we got more of, but that's a whole nother podcast for us. But I will say, with this set, and I think we've alluded to this, it's like, don't go into every single game thinking you're going to win every single one here, because a lot of it, like card games, it's a lot of luck. You're going to brick a hand, you will make a misplay, and there is a level, I think, of some strategy here that you can apply to this game. A lot of it is like, when do you put down a card on your bench? Like I know for me, I don't normally put down a card on my bench if I'm setting up my main attacker, because I don't want someone to Sabrina me and put me a turn or 2 behind, because that's going to be detrimental to if you want to win a game, if you're a turn or 2 behind. Kind of, guessing what someone may have, because if you know the meta, you can figure out, oh, they might have a Cyrus in their hand, they might have a Guzman in their hand, so I'm not going to lay down all my attached items on a Pokemon. So a lot of that just comes down to kind of like, you will take chances. Sometimes they'll succeed, sometimes they will fail, and sometimes Misty will give you nothing. And that's just the game. But I will say, if you don't mind, both of you, of me complaining one bit.
We've never complained on this show. This is a new thing for us.
This is good. I'm gonna say it right now, and if it makes someone upset, I do not apologize. And it's not really a spoil, and I don't think it's a spoiler, because the set has been out for about a week now, or a little less than a week. So if you don't want to hear this spoiler, I don't know, cover your ears. If you're driving, pull over the side of the road and cover your ears.
Please don't cover your ears driving.
There are shiny cards in this set. There's too many of them. They're not good. They're taking up valuable real estate in 2025. We did not need this. Please, Pokemon Company, limit the amount of shinies in future packs. That is what I'm asking for, please. Unless you do another shiny set. But I'm not happy. I'm going to step away and let both of you kind of calm me down, please.
So they did it backwards, huh? Because like in the shiny set, there weren't really that many shiny Pokemon.
There are more shinies in the set than the shiny set.
And in the physical, I would say I was absolutely caught off guard when I opened a pack and there was a shiny Machop or something. It was a Machop or something in the pack. I was like, wait, what? Like, what did I open the right? Like for a moment, I was like, oh shoot, did I open Shining Revelry? Like no, I opened the new set, and I will say that's a break from the physical TCG. They don't have. They've had their one-offs back in the day where like a Pokemon on a card will be shiny, but it will not be considered a shiny Pokemon. Like it's just that the card art is shiny, but they've never had, to my knowledge, like an actual like subset of shiny Pokemon in a non-shiny set, like in a set that wasn't like there are going to be a subset of shiny Pokemon. So
I feel like there was a gold shiny Rillaboom in a set that wasn't a shiny set.
yeah, so they've had like the gold cards back in the Sword and Shield era. A few of the gold cards were shiny. They had shiny Inteleon, they had a shiny Rillaboom, but they weren't considered like, it wasn't different. It wasn't like how in this set those are like the shinies are denoted by like the shiny mark, right?
Yeah.
Like that just happened to be like, oh, the gold card in this is a shiny Pokemon, but it's not like a different subset of it like they are in this. So that definitely caught me off guard. But yeah, they could lower that amount and keep like, and then give us a ton in a shiny set.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
don't give us just a few in a shiny set.
I wonder if just the thought process is we know such a big subset of players don't care about competitive or don't care about battles, so we can get them to spend money chasing shinies.
Shinies. Yeah.
But
That's true.
Possible.
I do agree that like because the power creep in this game is so real, none of these shinies are playable.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
all
They're just to look at. They're just for you to look at.
They're
they
pretty.
are taking away from like, oh man, I could have gotten like a full art Incineroar instead, and that's the card I need, or or whatnot.
Yeah.
It would be fun though down the road if they were to like branch out with different types of matches, different like types of tournaments, things like that, or if there was a code, kind of like a no EX code, if like you could only use shiny Pokemon in your deck or something like that, and it was just, you know, like, and so there would be a place for those at some point in the future where it's like, oh, none of these are good enough based on what's out here. But if we could only use shiny Pokemon in our deck because there was some sort of tournament type or some kind of match type, then there may be more use for these because we only have these options of shiny Pokemon to use, you know?
Yeah.
But as of now, right, how it is, like, yeah, it's just like, oh, this is kind of taking up space in a deck where, or in a set where it could have been something a little more useful. But yeah, definitely caught me by surprise.
Yeah, I can't imagine getting like a god pack and then just getting like a bunch of shinies.
I've seen people open God packs, and yeah, I've seen 3 or 4 of them were like the non-EX shinies, and I'm like, well, how do you feel about that?
And you can't trade them either. You can't trade them, unfortunately.
That's true. Yeah, you
the
can't,
moment.
which is a big bummer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
so
worry,
it's
when
like,
trading comes out in 2028 or whenever they said they were gonna like update it.
oh, the updated one in 2028, a little sooner than that. Yeah, maybe
Dead end of the
maybe.
year.
I can't.
It'll be
Yeah.
December 31st.
Oh man.
Yeah, there are definitely matches in Pocket where you just auto loss on like turn 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And I think there's wins where you auto win on turn 1 or 2 where your opponent just has a really bad hand. I think because the games are so quick and eventually when the meta like solidifies, there might only be like 3 actual like really, really good decks. But I think because games go so fast, I don't think people realize their mistakes. Or they don't realize what, like, you can go and be like, okay, I bricked my hand, my opponent has Solgaleo on turn 2, they're doing 100 and I think Solgaleo is like 120 damage, and I just lost.
Yeah.
And that's totally out of your control, right? But there can also be games where you could have made one play differently and it would have changed the whole outcome of the game. And I think sometimes players just don't see that, and they just go like, "Oh, they had rare candy and they had the advantage, and now I lost." And it's like, no, you could have saved that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And I ran the same Incineroar deck for almost 20 matches, and it was funny because there were like one of the matches I lost, I had like 2 Pokeballs in my deck. And my Twitch chat was like, "Why are you running 2 Pokeballs if you only have 2 Littens and you're guaranteed to start with Litten?" And I was like, "Well, because I want the consistency. I want to make sure that like I get that Litten when I need the other Litten, and also like that second Pokeball isn't completely useless because I can communicate the Litten and then get it back with another Pokeball. Like there's a reason that it's there." And the one game I lost because I had like 2 Pokeballs. It was literally a Solgaleo situation where it was like, oh, they got Solgaleo out, and all I have are 2 Littens, and no rare candies, and no Incineroars, and no Professor Oaks. Somebody in my chat was like, you should get rid of one of those Pokeballs. And I was like, that's not the issue.
Yeah.
And, like, I just bricked, that's fine. But I was also running red in my deck, and for 15 straight games, I never used red. There was never a situation where I was like, oh, I need to use red here. There was never a situation where I was like, I wish I had red to win this. There was never a situation where I was like, oh, red would have changed like the outcome of this game. There was just in 15 straight games. So it's like, why would I bricked once because I had 2 Pokeballs, but there's so many other games where that was important. And there was 0 games where red actually mattered. Let's remove red. Something else.
Yeah. And I think that's definitely this game is different in a way that if you've played other TCGs, you have an understanding of it. If you haven't played other TCGs but have played other Pokemon games, it may feel different, especially if you've played something like Pokemon Go or just something where it's like, oh, this isn't working at the moment. Let me just switch this out real quick for this. And it's kind of quick to like do that. Whereas in a TCG, like you're building a deck and like you're going to have, like you said, you're going to have the one-offs. You're going to have the just didn't pull the right cards at the right time and someone else did, right?
Yeah.
And
they had a perfect hand and I had the worst hand possible.
Exactly. Like, and you can't win with that. But that also doesn't mean you go and change everything up because, that happened, right? You look for the patterns, and to your point, 15 games without using a red. Okay. Well, maybe that's where we go and switch it up, right? And one game of messing up because you had 2 Pokeballs because the other person had a perfect pull. It's like,
right.
Maybe play a few more and see if the same thing happens again. If it continuously happens,
I don't think that's a pocket thing. I think that's a Pokemon thing, and I think we see that in VGC, and I think you see that with like raid builds, where in like VGC, for example, I think VGC is probably the closest to like the TCG when it comes to changing 1 or 2 variables to better fit something. So in like the TCG, that would be 1 or 2 cards. In the VGC, that might just be like 1 move. And I think there's so many examples in the VGC, but I think a simple one would just be Grimmsnarl, because Grimmsnarl can learn Thunder Wave, it can learn Reflect, Light Screen, Taunt, Spirit Break. There's more than 4 moves you want to put on a Grimmsnarl, but you can't. You can only put 4. So when you're winning or losing, I think losing makes you more apparent of what you might need to change. You have to ask yourself, if I removed one of these moves from Grimmsnarl for the other move, would that match have gone that different? Would I actually have won that match? Did I really need Taunt? Did I really need Light Screen? Did I need Reflect? And I think it's the same in the TCG of like, do I need red? Well, apparently for 15 games in a row, I did not need red. But I think Pokemon players, and maybe this exists in Call of Duty or Fortnite or whatever, I think Pokemon players, they'll play 1 or 2 games, they'll be like, this isn't working. And they need to like change right away. Or they'll see a raid build and they'll be like, well, I built your raid build, Steve, and it didn't work. And it's like, okay, well, did you play with randoms? Did you play with NPCs? Did you play with somebody who had like a level 30 Wigglytuff, and that's why you like. There's so many. Did you remember to EV train? Did you remember to bottle cap? Did you remember to put on a held item? Did you taunt when shield was up because that doesn't work? Like, there's just so many variables where like if you've only done it once, I don't know if that. I don't have enough data here.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely that is not TC. That's not even video game specific. That's like we've all worked in tech support in some capacity. That's like someone comes to you with a problem and this just happened. Okay, well, what are all the factors, right? Like we can't just go off of like one thing happened one time and now we have to like go and like throw the whole thing out and start over. And so that's people is what that is.
That is.
That's not, yeah.
For a game like this, and I know we've echoed this point, but you lose because just the two professors' research are the last two cards of your deck. It just happens. Yep. It may not happen every single game. It just happened this one game. And I found myself, because even like a few sets back, I've always done, two Sabrinas, or I've done like, a Sabrina and a Cyrus, or I've done two of every cards. I see myself with all these cards coming out being more toolboxy. Like I'm actually splashing in a Mars again. I'm even splashing in a red card once in a while because if I can disrupt my opponent.
Okay, we gotta end the segment. If Bob's running red card, we're
Hold on, no, folks, sit down for the next 45 minutes. Let me bring out my notes here for red. No, I would say Mars is better than red card. That I will. But I think having a Mars in decks now are not a bad idea. Just play with it. It's a lot of fun.
Okay.
I think because people are holding more cards because of rare candy.
Yeah.
Mars
right.
makes more sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're waiting for their combination to then play.
I'll do a twit longer later.
Okay, thank goodness. Ooh, I was worried that we were approaching red card territory again. Okay, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we got some Scarlet and we got some Scarlet and Violet stuff to talk about. So we will be right back. This podcast is brought to you by Mint Mobile. Do you say data or data? I'm actually not sure which one I say now that I've started reading this. And maybe because you don't think about the way you say it, you don't think about your monthly data plan. But when you think about Mint Mobile and their monthly data plan, you can think of premium wireless plans that start at $15 a month. Say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans and those unexpected overcharges that those companies love to hit you with. Mint Mobile is here to save the day. All Mint Mobile plans come with high-speed data, or data, your choice, and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan. You got a Samsung, you got a Google, you got I sound so old. You got an iPhone. I used my iPhone and it worked perfectly. And the important things that matter. You're listening to a Pokemon podcast. You want to know if your TCG Pocket, if your Pokemon GO, if your Pokemon Masters, you want to know if those work? They do. Why? Because I tested it on my Mint Mobile plan, on my iPhone, with my own accounts. No matter how you say it, don't overpay for it. Shop data plans at mintmobile.com/PKMNcast. That's mintmobile.com/PKMNcast. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month 5GB plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. And we are back from our break. There are 2 events happening in Scarlet and Violet, and they're going until Thursday, May 8th, until 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central. So normally these events come and go very quickly, but this event like lines up with Golden Week in Japan. So the first event is that Gimmighoul returned, chest form Gimmighoul returned. So that will appear in 1 to 5-star Terra raid battles. The 5-star raid has a chance of being shiny. There's a 1 in 4,096 chance of it being shiny. And then the other thing is there are 3 new outbreaks. There's Wiglet in Paldea, Growlithe in Kitakami, and Swablu in Blueberry. And those are boosted shinies, so they should be easier to find without Shining Charm or even without Sandwich Power. But if you like getting marked shinies, you might want to use Sandwich Power anyways to boost it, or more item drops or more title jumbo tiny, whatever you want. There's a reason to use Sandwich if you want to use Sandwich.
Right.
I don't know why you would be holding on to your Herba Mystica at this point. The game is almost like 3 years old. We're getting a new Pokemon game soon. It's like, I don't know, spend your Herba Mystica.
Yes. Yeah. No, that makes sense. I still need to get Wiglet. Got Growlithe and Swablu all over the place in Pokemon Go, but need Wiglet. So seems like it's cool. I'm glad that it's going through May 8th. It is nice that it's a little bit longer than the typical, weekend event.
Yes.
So that's nice. Have either of you gotten a shiny Gimmighoul in a raid yet?
I did the first time it came around.
Okay. Got it. Got it.
Is this the part where we talk about injected raids?
I heard about this. I don't even know what that is. Like, I don't fully understand that.
An injected raid is like, I don't know where the term came from. I feel like it's just a way to make it sound like not a hacked raid.
Just switch that term out and now it's a whole different thing.
Ultimately, I don't really care if you call it a hacked raid. I have no horse in this race. It's modified in some sense, whether or not, let me give a good example. In Emerald, you could get in a Japanese Emerald, you could get an old sea map to then take you to the island to get Mew.
Yep.
So that item is in the game. So you could argue if you have an English copy, you're just making the item in the game already accessible, but that item was never technically released.
Got it.
So there's like a gray area of like, well, the item's already in the game and the island's already in the game. I'm just giving myself access to the item to get to the island.
Sure.
Or like maybe like Darkrai and what was that? Platinum, Diamond and Pearl? One of the older ones.
Right.
Anyways, there's just there are injected raids going around where people will make sure the Gimmighoul is shiny, and then they can do whatever. If they can make it shiny, they can make it whatever else they want. So a 5-star raid is guaranteed to be 4 IVs, perfect IVs, and then the other 2 IVs would be a 1 in 32 chance, right? So it's 1 in 32 chance, and then another 1 in 32 chance, on top of it being a 1 in 4,000 chance, and then they will then host those raids over and over. And there might be like subreddits for that, or Discords for that, or Twitch streamers asking for you to Twitch Prime to get in, which is technically not allowed on Twitch, to do that. But I don't care what you do with your $60 game that you have. But if you got a shiny Gimmighoul with 6 perfect IVs from a raid, I'm gonna probably go, that's injected. That is not. You go buy a lottery ticket if you think that was like statistically possible.
Yeah.
And then because they can control IVs and because they can control shiny, they can also control size. There is no boost to sizes in raids. There was only like 2 raids that Pokemon specifically boosted. One was the tiny Typhlosion, and then the other was like the 1 in 16 chance Pikachu that you could get. Right. I think it's like a 1 in 13,000 chance for a raid to be Jumbo, or a 1 in 13,000 chance for a raid to be shiny. So if you walked away from a Gimmighoul raid and you're like, man, I got shiny Jumbo Gimmighoul, sure you did.
You're telling me there's something wrong with my shiny jumbo 6IV Gimmighoul, Steve?
Yes.
I don't believe you.
Like at that point, just go to a Discord server and just generate one for yourselves
Yeah.
and import it to the game. Like that's ultimately like, to me, it's like you're trying to like figure out like some loophole of like. Like, look, if you got a 4 IV shiny Gimmighoul, statistically, that's possible. That's a 1 in 4,000 chance. That's somebody could find one and then host it over and over. Like, I looked at my shiny Gimmighoul because I had a viewer come into my Twitch chat, and she was like, I've been hunting, because the first time Gimmighoul came around, I think it was around for 2 weeks.
Yes, I remember
And
that.
she came in, she's like, I was hunting on 2 switches for a week, and I got one on my Switch, and she's like, I've just been hosting it for people. And she hosted it for everyone in my chat. And I looked at it, and it was 4 IV. It was shiny. It wasn't jumbo. It wasn't tiny. It seems fine.
Yeah.
But, like, it's hard to tell. But,
Yeah.
like I was saying, if you got, like, jumbo shiny 6 IV Gimmighoul, that's not hard to tell.
Yeah.
That's definitely not hard to tell.
That's, yeah.
I mean, I'm all for communities, helping each other out and host a raid, and
I think that's what they want, though, right? They want
Yeah.
you to host it.
they want you to host it. Yeah, it's like I don't want to put the work in. Please host it for me. But we're not saying like please do not pay any financial currency for stuff like this. Like it's just don't do that. I know. That's the beauty of this game is that, you have people who are doing these raids day in, day out, will help each other, will get you a nice, legit, comfy, shiny Gimmighoul that'll probably stay in my box for 6 years to come. But it's just a nice thing to have. And yeah, at the end of the day, please, like, I'm all for just like legit methods to get these things. Just don't ruin it for other people. It's not worth it in the end. Like your XX jumbo supercalifragilistic Gimmighoul. don't need it.
Yeah. And it's like unfortunate because there's definitely people who like they don't know the odds, right? Like they don't know that the odds of the shiny Gimmighoul, even just the shiny, right? They might think like they might hear like, oh, we can get shiny Gimmighoul right now and think that that's more common than 1 in 4,000 just from not like knowing. And then on top of that, knowing like the IVs percentages, the big and small percentages, like, and so sometimes people will just come up and they'll just end up in a situation where they have something that they don't even know is like, for lack of a better term, like hacked. And it's like that's unfortunate because then that person's dealing with that and has no idea, like, no, that's not even a legit Pokemon. And whether they care or not, that's on them. But it's like, I don't know, let's just play the game the way that like
Exactly.
This
laid out to play.
also exists in like the trading card space where like kids will have like a bunch of fake cards.
Yeah.
And then like somebody has to like go like pull their parent aside and be like, "Hey, do you know that none of these cards are real?"
Yeah.
And like it's like a weird conversation of like, should I be the one telling, like, but also like the parent should know, but do they know and they just don't care?
And sometimes I think we were talking before about this on
Nate.
the show, but like, yeah, with Nate, where like some people like they're like, oh no, I know, but like they just like the card, like they just like the look of it or whatever, and it's like, okay, like as long as everyone here is in the know that you're buying that you bought a fake card, but like there are too many times where it's like no, those are all fake, and then it's like what I don't know, my kid, or like kids trade at school or something and they bring home cards and it's like I got all these. And it's like, yeah, those are fake. You just traded away real Pokemon cards for fake.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad to see that. So don't do that to people.
I didn't like if that viewer didn't come into my stream and like host it, I probably wouldn't have one. But at the same time, like I don't think a 1 in 4,000 raid event is particularly like it doesn't get me excited to do.
Yeah, that's true. That's a little bit like which I think there's like two parts to this, right? There's two perspectives, right? There's the perspective of the people who almost like a completionist thought process where it's like, oh, this new shiny, I gotta have it, right? And there's that, and a 1 in 4,000 chance raid event is gonna be tough sell even for that, right? Like nobody, I don't think anybody wants to try to do upwards of 4,000 raids for. I know that doesn't typically work out like that, but it's just like nobody wants to do that, I think. Even though Steve, you probably do that on a weekly basis with your builds and stuff.
Probably done 4,000 raids in total.
And, hosting raids for people. But for the side of it that's like, this is cool when it happens. Yeah. This is cool because you get that lucky chance, that 1 in 4,000 chance. That's kind of cool. Like, that's cool that there's like the possibility that you end the day and it's like, oh, I got a shiny one of these. That's really exciting, So it's like two perspectives, right? Because it's like the people who I don't want to say they don't care about shinies as much, but like aren't in the completionist, like I have to have every shiny, versus the people who see this, they're like, well, I have to have it because it's a shiny that wasn't available before or was very like exclusive before. Gotta try to get it. And I don't know. I think it works better for the people who aren't the completionist type in that way, where it's like, I might get it and that's kind of fun.
Well, my gimme goal's rarer than yours, Bobby. So I think the opportunity is nice to have. Like, I'm not going to, dedicate 4 hours a night trying to get it. But if I get it one time, I'll be happy. I'm more excited to get a shiny Wiglet. I love Wiglet. I love Wugtrio. I'm excited for a shiny Wiglet. And at least with that, I have some control over how I want to do that hunt, go for that shiny Pokemon, and maybe not put as much time and effort into it than a Gimme Ghoul raid. But like you said, if I get a shiny Gimme Ghoul, hey, that's awesome. That's great. I'm going to, nickname this a cool name and just cherish it for however long I can. But I'm not going to run and power up my Switch every single night to try and get this. And I'll give it a few raids and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I think like with the Wiglet thing, like I hunted Wiglet for maybe 45 minutes, and I got like 5 of them, and I was like, didn't need 5, I just needed 2. But like, I already turned
you need 5, Steve.
I turned the sandwich on, so I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna run it dry.
Yeah.
I did not get any big one though. I was looking for a big one. And with Gimme Ghoul, so you have like one instance where it's like, oh, it's like community day shiny odds, and I think Scarlet and Violet does like a really good job at like making outbreaks feel like a community day. It's Wiglet weekend or whatever. Great. I don't have to do it at a specific time, but exactly. if I give a little bit of time, I should get results.
Yep.
Just like if you play Pokemon Go for 3 hours and you don't live in Grand Marais, you're probably gonna get switch it up. Switch it up. The Appleton people are getting too much dedication. We're gonna switch to Grand Marais. Also, they may also switch to St. Cloud. That's also but like if you live in a big city, you play for 3 hours, you're probably gonna walk away with 3 shinies in community day, right?
Yeah.
But like the Gimme Ghoul situation is not even like remotely the same. Like a raid takes so much time for one check, on top of the raid itself doesn't sparkle, and Gimme Ghoul is impossible to tell if it's shiny when you're fighting it, so you have to catch it. So it's not even like a shiny Charizard where like, oh, it didn't sparkle, but I definitely know the thing standing next to across from me is definitely a shiny Charizard. I can definitely tell. So it's like this. There's no boost to it, right? Shiny Charm doesn't work. Sandwich doesn't work. It's just the pure 1 in 4,000. And to be fair, like nothing in Scarlet and Violet raids have ever been boosted. Yep. Obviously, there was a shiny Rayquaza, but that was like on. It wasn't like boosted. It was just on.
It was 100%.
So I don't know what the solution is, because I think in Sword and Shield there was boosted shiny raids, and then
the Dynamax Adventure stuff.
No, I'm talking about when they like did like Wailord weekend, or they did
the Magikarp. They had the Magikarp one time. Yeah, it was boosted. Yeah, that's right.
So like Sword and Shield had boosted raids, and then this game has 0 boosted raids, and every raid is 1 in 4,000. So it's like, did they want to do boosted raids, but because the game ran so poorly, or because they had to like panic optimization, like there is no sparkle, there is no boost. The game runs like garbage. like I do think raids were a big part of the game, obviously, with like 7 stars.
Yeah, for sure.
And everything. But did they just see like this huge drop off because maybe 7 stars were too hard for somebody who's not chronically online? I think all of us are chronically online, and I think a lot of people listening to the show are chronically. You're listening to a Pokemon podcast. You're definitely more online than the average person. Yeah. But did they see like a huge drop off of 1, just the game running so poorly, and 2, maybe 7-star raids were being too hard for people? And again, I'm talking about like not the people listening to the show. I'm talking about like very casual people who just buy the game, get to credits, stop playing. That they just kind of like gave up on the whole raid situation altogether.
Yeah.
And I think of like things that were like not done. And I don't even know if people remember this, but when Scarlet and Violet came out, sleep didn't actually put Pokemon's eyes to sleep.
Yes.
Oh, I
remember that. It was creepy. It was real creepy.
It was very creepy. So like, I can't imagine if they forgot to code in putting 1,000 Pokemon's eyes asleep, or not 1,000. How many are in the game at this point? Like 800?
800 or something. Yeah.
I feel like they could just simply code in, oh, this raid is going to sparkle because it's shiny.
I don't know. I think that might make people's switches blow up.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's a performance thing where they noticed that the game was crashing.
You already have the terrestrialization spark. The entire budget of this game went to that cave and all the terrestrialization sparkles that come out of it.
Yeah.
Way too many sparkles.
No more sparkles allowed.
No more sparkles.
in our game.
But I feel like Gimmighoul should have been as exciting as Meltan in Pokemon GO when they turn it shiny.
Yeah.
And it's not.
No, not at all.
And so then it resorts to people being like, I'm just going to inject this and I'm just not going to care.
Which it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because, it's just, I don't know. It takes away from the it's a mixed bag. Because that in itself takes away from like the excitement of catching one that's 1 in 4,000. If now you're questioning whether or not it's legitimately 1 in 4,000,
right,
or if it was just injected. At the same time, you're like, but I'm happy that I got one. But now I'm like, I'm not as happy as I might have been if this wasn't a thing that could happen. But then like, I don't know. It's a mixed situation. But it's
like that Larry David gif that you see where he's like, yeah. Don't know how I feel about this.
I catch it and not worry about it, I guess.
Yeah. The Larry David gif, look it up. That is how I feel about this event right now. I was like,
Yeah.
Before we get to the black and white stuff, we'll just squeeze this news in. Pokemon Home, the metal thing, the metal system we talked about. Was that last week?
Yeah. Oh, I got my medal all right. I actually opened my
nice.
I got Kanto. I got Kanto as well, Steve.
Okay. So now
we
you're
can't
looking
trade.
look for somebody with a Lola.
Yeah.
Okay. So since last week, they added 3 new medals.
Okay.
And they're all in Japan. So great for our listeners. Pokemon Home, this is off Cerebi, has added medals in several Pokemon centers. I don't know if 3 is several.
Several?
3 is few?
I think 3 is several.
Several.
More
I think
than 2.
I think several is more than 2. Yeah.
Oh, is few 2? I have a few.
No, few is also more than 2. There are multiple words for more than 2.
You know what I like? I like just saying 2.
I feel like several is more than few.
No, I think few and several are similar. I think both few or several can be 3.
Hold on, we're gonna. Okay. Google AI says this: a few and several are both used to describe small but unspecified quantities, but several generally implies a larger amount than a few. A few can range from as low as 2 or 3
Okay.
with several usually indicating at least 3 or more and often than a few. So to answer your question, pass.
Okay.
I don't like that few can be used for 2. I disagree with Google AI there. I think a few that should be what's in the comments. Let us know if you think few can be 2 or if it has to be more than 2 for a few.
I cannot wait for the thesis.
I want to know in the YouTube comments your logic of why you would say several over few, or if you think they're interchangeable.
Beautiful.
So Pokemon Center Mega Tokyo, Pokemon Center Osaka, and Pokemon Center Nagoya will have the medals. They say there will be you can scan a stand using the NFC feature to obtain the medals. Now, there are a lot of Pokemon Centers in Japan. There are, I believe, 2 in Osaka. I'm sorry, my friend Julie always makes fun of me that I don't say Osaka instead of Osaka. And then in Tokyo. I'm thinking of like the train saying Tokyo. Bobby knows what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
In Tokyo, there's the Mega Tokyo, and then there's DX, and then there's the one in Shibuya, and then there's the one in Tokyo Bay, which is actually not that close to Tokyo.
Right.
For it being called Tokyo Bay. And then there's the one in Skytree, which is still technically Tokyo, I think. Mm-hmm. So it is weird that they were like, out of the 5 I just named in Tokyo, only one is getting it. And the 2 in Osaka, only 1 is getting it. Mm-hmm. And Hiroshima just had a reopening. And it's kind of weird that Hiroshima wouldn't be on that list because it just reopened like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
But you would also think all the Pokemon Centers in Japan, and probably the one in Singapore, would have these medals. So is the holdup just them like making the stand and then carting the stand into the Pokemon Center? Maybe. Are the so these medals feature, the Mega Tokyo one features Miraidon, the Osaka one features Koraidon, and then the Nagoya one features Celebi. Those are the mascot Pokemon for those stores, correct? Is that how that works? Mm-hmm. So if they did have all 5 of the Pokemon Centers, they'd have to do 5 different medals because it'd be the mascot Pokemon for each of the Pokemon Centers, right? But the medal is just the logo of the Pokemon Center. I know. I'm not saying they can't do it. It's just a PNG, really.
I was just saying, it would be a different medal. But I think one other thing that's interesting is that you have to use the NFC feature on your phone to obtain new medals. There are a fair amount of smartphones out there that don't have an NFC feature. They don't have NFC in the phone.
Also,
so how does that work?
Isn't this just like the Amiibo thing where people just stopped buying Amiibos because they just got the NFC string of numbers and just downloaded it?
Oh, is that a thing you could? I have no idea.
Yeah,
I've never followed Amiibo things.
Man, between injected raids and now Amiibos, yeah, you could go to Etsy and you could buy all the Smash Brothers Amiibos for $5, but they were just pieces of paper or whatever that you could just touch. So it wasn't the figure; it was just the chip.
Just so you can get the items in your game,
correct.
Do whatever you want with those.
Yeah, I want the Splatoon stuff, but I don't want to buy the Splatoon Amiibo. So I'll just buy the touch chip or whatever for $1.
Yeah, I mean, but in this situation, if they say you have to scan, if it is really using NFC, that's not.
Well, I guess
it's more.
I guess there would be no way to create that because somebody would.
Right, it'd have to
you could buy the Amiibo and then open the Amiibo, or I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. In this case, it'd be you'd have to be a developer of Home. I feel to get that.
Although if you're trying to jump through a hoop to get Nagoya medal that when you've never been to Nagoya. Unless, like, I also don't know is like if I NFC scan Nagoya, do I get 3? So then I could trade them?
Yes. I believe they said, didn't they say that in the initial, like when it first came out, that you always would get 3 of each medal to trade? I think it did say that every time when you get the medals, you do get 3 of each one. So you can trade 2 of them. So I think that you would get 3.
I don't know. Sometimes
that
I
would
don't
be the whole
trust,
idea. That's the whole point. Like
sometimes
that's
I
the
don't
whole...
trust the US Pokemon.com press release.
Yeah. I don't know. Here's the thing. Don't inject your raids. Don't sell fake Pokemon cards. Don't, I don't know, become an employee at Ilka so that you can somehow make fake medals. Just do the thing. And if you can't do the thing, it's okay. It's totally fine. It's totally fine.
You know, out of all the things you said, I think the medals is probably the least priority of...
I think so.
I think
probably
it's
the hardest to do as well.
I think it's cool. I think we haven't heard much of the stamp feature in Pokemon Go since that was announced.
Right. That's true.
So maybe hold off on everything. Once medals are fully developed at all the Pokemon Centers, and once Niantic gets stamps out, just book a month trip to Japan. Plan to go to every Pokemon Center. Plan to go as many Pokelids as you can.
Yep.
And then you can do both. Spoiler, once you've been to one Pokemon Center, you've kind of been to all of them. I'm just going to... It's like an Apple store.
Yeah.
Like, sure, Apple stores have, like, different architecture, and, like, the one in New York, you can go underground, and it's open 24 hours, and it's a giant cube, and the one in California is, like... Well, there's a lot in California, but there's like one in Singapore that's like floating on water, and it's still at the end of the day, they just sell iPhones.
That is true. That is true. The products are the same.
Like
That's true.
There's very few limited products per Pokemon Center.
Oh, that is true. You're right though that there are a few exclusive.
There are a few exclusives,
Yes.
but like
That's true.
nothing that's like in demand.
Right.
Like if something is like there was a passport travel wallet that was Latias and it was like the Eon ticket.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was at all the Pokemon Centers. And it was instantly sold out at all the Pokemon Centers. It didn't matter which one you went to. It was instantly sold out, and it's on like eBay for like $120, even though it was like a $15 passport.
Don't do that either. don't sell things for 10 times what they actually are in the store.
Japanese people also scalp like American people. It's not exclusive to our country. It does exist. All right. Let's take one more break, and then we have some Black and White remix confirmed news, and then some Pokemon Go news. So we will be right back. And we are back from our break. Let's get through the Pokemon Go stuff real quick. Pawmi Community Day. This is how I know Niantic listens to the podcast.
Yeah.
No, I actually don't believe they listen to the podcast at all.
But they should.
I don't know if they should, actually.
No, they should.
At this point, they don't invite me to anything anymore, so maybe they did listen to the podcast. And they were like, what are we doing with this guy?
Oh, brother, this
This guy stings. Pawmi, the mouse Pokemon, will be featured for May Community Day. I don't like to hang on to specific things I read on Twitter or Reddit or whatever. But the amount of people I saw calling Pawmi a bear.
A bear?
They were like, it's a teddy bear. I was like, what?
It's the Pikachu.
It's the Pikachu clone.
like
It's a rodent.
Paldea.
It is the mouse. It's known as the mouse Pokemon for the record here. It's not a bear. It will be what is this? May 11th, Sunday, May 11th on Mother's Day in the U.S. Moms love Pawmi. Is actually I think my mom is walking with a Pawmi in Pokemon Go. Although she hasn't played in a while, so I don't. I don't know.
Get a bouquet of Pawmis for her. She'll love it.
Perfect. Bob, you excited for Pawmi? Is this I feel like people are mixed on this, even though in my head I'm like brand new shiny.
I mean,
But
New
it's-
Pokemon.
It's only one shiny though, right? Because Pawmi and its evolutions are just Pawmi standing up. There is no other. There's no other Pokemon. It's Pawmi. Pawmi stands up. Pawmi got older. That's all it is. Like,
I will not accept this Pawmi slander.
we know how Bobby feels about this. I will say, I mean, I got a shiny Pawmi, a shiny Pawmot in Sleep, and it's a nice shiny. I like it. I think a lot of people like Pawmi. It's adorable. It's cute. It's gonna sell like hotcakes. I don't know if that is a thing in Pokemon Go, selling like hotcakes. Maybe, I don't know. My Niantic, let us know. But no, I'm excited for this. It's gonna be a fun catch and get the full line and show the evolution of standing up. It's gonna be great. So yeah, I'm excited for this. This is nice.
what do you think, Steve?
I think it's great. I want to play all 3 hours. I like
know
Pawmi.
You love Pawmi. You love.
I
Pawmi.
do like Pawmi.
Pokemon.
I feel like no other Pokemon gets this treatment. I feel like you could be. Would you? Cat's freaking out over here. I feel like you could be like, I love Gibble, but I hate Gabite or something. But like that, you would still be like, Gibble's awesome. I feel like with Pawmi, people will be like, yeah, but it just stands up. Like, do you not like the base form at least? Like Pawmi by himself is great.
Pawmi's cute. I like Pawmi. I actually really, I do enjoy the Pikachu like Pokemon of each generation. So it is cool. Pawmi's fine. It's yeah. And is it Pawma? When does it become electric fighting? Is that Pawmo or Pawmot that it
Pawmot
changes? Pawmot. So that's cool as well. I guess it learns to fight. But it's fine. It's a new shiny. I'll give it
no
that.
one's complaining about Gloom. No one likes Gloom. We all like Oddish and we all like Vileplume. It's okay. You don't need to like the middle evolution. Who's out here liking Slugoo? People like Goodra.
This is why Rare Candy exists. So we can get beyond these stage 1 mods.
It's fine.
The one Slugoo lover is gonna be like commenting on the YouTube video, like, if you like Slugoo more than Goodra, I don't know what to tell you, man.
I don't know. I don't know how to come back from this. Like, I think it's cool. Like, I think that getting a new Pokemon, because that's one thing, right? Is like a Pokemon whose shiny hasn't been in game yet. Like, obviously, I feel like that is a step above like giving us something where the shiny's already been out. And when did Pawmi even come into the game? Has it been a year for Pawmi? It has, right? It's been over a year actually, because it came right when Paldea
Yeah, because
came out.
I hit level 50 when Pawmi was already in the game.
Yeah, it came out with the starters, I think, with when the starters debuted. So that's been quite some time. No, it's cool. It's cool.
Here's your bonuses. You get you only have to walk with Pawmo for 1 kilometer instead of, I think, what was it, 5?
That's why it was like 25.
Oh, was it that high?
I think that might have been part of why I was always like, ugh, about the Pawmi line.
Whatever
was getting
Pokemon
it
in
to
Pokemon Go needs to be walking. None of those. I've never involved any of those. Like,
I'm pretty sure it's 25. I'm pretty sure it's 25.
Like Woobat, maybe I think needs to be walked.
Yeah, Woobat needs to be walked.
I've never gotten.
That's only like 1 kilometer though for Woobat.
Yeah, but then I got to put Woobat as my buddy.
But Woobat has wings. Like, what's going on here? What is this madness?
1/4 hatch egg distance, 2 times catching, 2 times chance for XL, lure module 3 hours, incense 3 hours, snapshot for a surprise, 1 additional special trade, maximum of 2, 50% stardust. Bonus. Most of these bonuses will be active from 2 to 10. Evolution requirement will go until 10 local time. which is nice. There will be Pawmi showcases unless that breaks. There will be an event bundle that you shouldn't buy. There will be a community day ticket that you probably also shouldn't buy.
No, I will argue that the community tickets, while they did go up to $1.99 from 99 cents, they're not geared toward the community day specifically. Like the rewards are, you end up getting 3 of the Pokemon with the background on them for that. But they don't have to be completed during community day. Like back in the day, it was like if you didn't complete the ticket for on community day, you had to wait until that December because it was like you had to catch like 15 of the specific Pokemon.
Like Poliwag or something.
Yeah. And so like now, like I still have, what was the last community day we just had? The Vanillite. Yeah. I haven't even completed step 1 of that community day research yet, but like I also know that I don't have to wait to do it. Like I can just go because all 3 steps are just catch a Pokemon, not catch a specific Pokemon.
Type, yeah.
And so I do appreciate that. Is that worth the extra $1? I don't know, but I do appreciate that it's not tied specifically to the community day Pokemon. But you still do get the backgrounds for those Pokemon.
There will also be a Crown Clash event from Saturday, May 10th to Sunday, May 18th. 2 times the XP for evolving Pokemon. Maybe I can do my Woobat. Increased chance for shiny Nidoqueen wearing a crown and shiny Nidoking wearing a crown. Increased chance for shiny Slowpoke, shiny Combee, and shiny Litleo. I don't understand those 3 specifically.
The male, female. Oh no, I don't know about Slowpoke.
Yeah, the Slowpoke doesn't. Catching a Slowpoke may award a King's Rock.
Oh, because of the crown, right? Like King's Rock.
And then it's a queen
and then
bee.
Vespiquen being a queen bee, and then Litleo being like king of the jungle, like lions being king of the jungle, maybe.
Yeah, the Slowpoke one is a stretch, but okay.
And then Slowpoke just being Slowking. Like
Okay.
Into Slowking.
Yeah, okay, Slowking. Yeah, sure. Okay, fine. I was thinking Slowbro, but okay, I understand now. Niantic, you're too clever for us.
Yeah, right.
King Gambit will make its debut, the Big Blade Pokemon. You can evolve Bisharp into King Gambit when you defeat 15 Dark-type or Steel-type in raid battles with Bisharp as your buddy. You do not need to defeat these Pokemon with Bisharp. And then 1-star raids will be Sneasel, Clink, Pawniard. 3-star raids will be Nidoking and Nidoqueen wearing the crown. They said these are not in the wild. Oh, okay. So I guess you can only raid for Nidoking and Nidoqueen.
Yeah.
Unless they're in research, but we haven't seen what the research is.
Right. I think that's fine, right? I mean...
Yeah, I mean, I would probably go out of my way to use my free raid pass, but I don't think I would not remote in.
Same.
Yeah, I was thinking, at first glance, seeing like, oh, you got to win 15 raids to evolve Bisharp into King Gambit, which, by the way, I will say, tip, just make Bisharp your buddy at the very beginning of this event so that you don't forget if you jump into raids and then realize like, oh, I should have had Bisharp as my buddy so I could have gone toward that evolution. But at first I was like, 15 raids, that's a kind of like annoying a little bit, but I think it's cool that Pawniard's in raids because up until now Pawniard has only been in the rocket eggs, right? I mean, other than like being at
for
Unovator.
Yeah, Unovator and stuff.
Yeah, but usually Pawniard's only in rocket eggs.
Yeah.
So being in 1-star raids, if you have daily passes or you have like some premium passes that you just haven't used over time, like
since
me that
COVID,
has 100.
Your premium passes since COVID that you have not gone through yet.
Then you can go out and do some. Oh, except I just totally missed that the Pawniard's in the wild as well. So yeah. Well, better chance to...
they heard you. They listened to this podcast, and they were like, Bobby wants more Pokemon in the wild.
Yeah. which
There
is
you go.
fine. How do you guys like the crowns that Nidoqueen and Nidoking are wearing? Do you think they're good costumed
I
Pokemon?
listen. I'm a sucker for a good hat Pokemon. I like the crown on Nidoking because the horn kind of keeps the crown in place. I don't know how Nidoqueen is doing it because physics tells me that crown's going to fall off anytime soon. But the crown's cool. I mean, I like it. I love the gimmicks. I love the little costumes. So I'm all in for this one.
There are worse hat Pokemon in Pokemon Go.
Okay, I see. For the record, I think since Nidoqueen has horns, she has like 3 horns, right? Because she has the one in front that's like on her forehead, and then she has like one on the left.
It's like on the back here, and then like one.
Yeah,
one
between the
comes out.
ears has like 2, and I think that the crown is just stuck between all of those horns, and that is what's keeping it. That's what's keeping it on her head.
I need a top down view here. I need someone to go out there and give me a top down view of this, please. If you catch it, please post it.
Black Bolt, White Flare, come into the Switch 3. Bobby, give us the down low on the next TCG sets.
Yeah, they really hit us with a big one here. So 2 sets releasing in Japan. I believe it's June 6th. And it is all Unova. So this set will feature all 156 Unova Pokemon. Now in Japan, it will be split into 2 sets, like we said, Black Bolt and White Flare. The pack arts are exactly what you would think. They are Zekrom and Reshiram, a mixture of black and white colors. And they did. There were a few cards revealed, mainly just the starter. Like there was the Snivy line, the Tepig line, the Oshawott line, and then there was like a Reshiram EX revealed. There was a Victini card revealed. And there was was that it? There was a Kyurem EX card revealed and a Zekrom EX card revealed. But here's the thing that's like blew everyone's mind that was anticipating these sets. Every single Unova Pokemon will be getting an illustration rare or a special illustration rare, which is like the full art, right? Like the full art picture type card, which is gonna be impossible to collect, I feel like, because illustration rares only come like once every few packs usually. So if there are 156 of them to collect, I guess that would mean that these sets together are going to have some combined like 300 cards in them, I guess.
Wow.
We don't know a whole lot more other than that we've been told every Unova Pokemon will get an illustration rare or a special illustration rare in the set. And we've also seen like there's a Snivy in the set that is just like a regular Snivy card. And there's also an illustration rare of Snivy. So it's not like there's only going to be illustration rares in this set. It seems like it's going to be a regular set that's also going to have a potential 156 illustration rares, which is cool, but also like, I don't know, again, going to be impossible. I feel like they are making these sets more and more impossible to like get the whole set if you want as time goes on.
I was looking at this too because it says they're going to be doing deluxe packs where there'll be a guaranteed illustration rare. Is this the first time they're doing something like that? Where like if you buy a certain product, like you are guaranteed, like, and you know we don't know which one you're going to get, but you are guaranteed at least one illustration rare.
The Japan's version of Shiny V-Star, or it was called Shiny V-Star. I can't remember.
Okay.
It was guaranteed. Guaranteed a shiny per pack or something. I can't remember exactly.
That's okay. You're right. Yep.
Yeah,
But that did not come to America the same way.
Yeah.
Because
although the shinies are more common in the shiny sets, typically, like you're more likely to get a shiny Pokemon in a set. So I do wonder if again, so all we know right now is Japan. I think they did say that the US version was going to come in July, I want to say. I feel like I saw that somewhere. But
yes.
yeah, it's, the special English set is releasing July 18th. That's like the same as Black Bolt and White Flare. I do wonder how this is going to. I don't know. I see 156 illustration rares. And I think
we're getting 2 special sets this year. We're getting this, and then we got the EV. What was
Prismatic Evolutions, which in itself had 32 special illustration rares. So they were just like, hey, we heard you like illustration rares. Let's just give you every Pokemon and Unova's going to get one.
For the record, I don't think we're getting Black and White remakes anytime soon. I think we're getting ZA at the end of this year, and I think for the 30th anniversary next year, we're getting Gen 10. And I think after Gen 10, we're going to get DLC for Gen 10. Like, I don't...
Really? You think it's going to be that far into the future for Black and White? You don't think there would be a Black and White remake with Switch 2? Oh, I guess it could be like down the line.
Yeah. But like, they need something in between Gen 10 and Gen 11, which would be like DLC and remakes. And
True.
But like, the reason that this exists is because it is going to be the 15th anniversary for Black and White in Japan this year.
Right.
Because I think it came out in September of 2010, and then America got it in March of 2011. So, like, the reason of like why is there a set if there's no remakes? It's just 15th anniversary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. And as they are trying to, at that same time, some would say like, well, why is there a set for a 15th anniversary of, this? I think they're also like dragging things out a bit to get to ZA, because like they've run out of Scarlet and Violet sets, right? Like, and that's kind of, and so they it's like they started the trainers Pokemon, then they need something. They got the Rocket, the Team Rocket set, and it's like they need something else to push them into the megas that are coming, later this year with ZA, and so. Why not do, a 15th anniversary set for Black and White? I think
why not do one set every month in TCG Pocket? Why not? Just
yeah.
Just there you go. I'm also like with all these anniversary releases. I mean, I'm in the boat where not everything has to be a video game adaptation of a, update. Like I love a card set to be the memorial for like the anniversary, and that's what that specific games or generations celebration is, a card set here or something. And if we get a game in the future, great. But I'm not really waiting and holding my breath for that anytime soon. But no, Bobby, you're right. I think as once ZA comes out, I'm sure they have a whole marketing plan for 2026 that they can roll out once ZA is out, and then we'll have a whole bunch of ZA product and things in between that and Gen 10. But yeah, this is good for now, and I'm excited. For a collector, it might be a bit of a headache. I don't know if it's going to be easier to collect the Japanese versions versus the English versions, but I do like seeing more of the illustration and special illustrations coming out for Pokemon. They've been doing a great job with it, and please keep it going. But I think for collecting, it's going to be a interesting trek for this for a completionist.
Yeah, I think at the beginning of the Scarlet Violet era, my whole thought was like, oh, I think I'll try to collect all the illustration rares, like not try to pull them all, but like maybe buy some of them and, just kind of keep up with that. Because at the time there were like 12 a set, and it was like, that's not too bad. And they weren't, overly expensive. They've definitely jumped up in price a bit over time, but they weren't super expensive. You could pick up a couple for like a couple bucks a piece if you bought the singles and things like that. So it was like, oh, I could do that. 12 a set, no problem. And then they're like, here's 156. Okay, I think maybe I'm not going to try to collect every single one of them. But I think if you are a Unova fan, if you like a very specific Pokemon in Unova, I think that's very cool to have an illustration rare, like There hasn't been a Farfetch'd illustration rare yet, and every set I'm like, come on, give us the Farfetch'd illustration rare, you know? And so if you are a specific Unova, if one of the Unova Pokemon's your favorite, there's a good chance you might get a cool artwork for your favorite Pokemon coming up here in June or July.
I don't think they're done milking the Kanto train yet, Bobby.
So no,
you know what? I feel like one day we'll get that illustration rare Farfetch for you. I believe it.
Definitely possible.
I am curious of like how well this will do. Because like 151, very well. And it's cool that they're like finally leaning into this. And this is really the first set they can do this with, because even Johto is so heavily reliant on Kanto. Hoenn and Sinnoh are both heavily reliant on Kanto. Like half of Sinnoh's new Pokemon are just evolutions of Gen 1 Pokemon.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So
that's
like
true.
this set really does, or Gen 5 does really mark a divide where they can give a Kanto treatment to Gen 5 without relying on Kanto like the first 4 generations. So I think it's exciting. I mean, I like Gen 5 a lot. To be clear, like, we all hated not me, but the internet hated Gen 5. Everyone hated Gen 5 when it came out because they couldn't play with their Garchomp, they couldn't play with their Charizard, they didn't want to use Sock and Throw. I understand, but let's not try to rewrite history here. It's all documented. Your MySpace, I remember, you said you hated Gen 5. And it ain't going away. I know Justin Timberlake might own it now. Actually, I don't know if Justin Timberlake owns MySpace anymore.
At one point he did, I think.
He did own it at one point. But that's just like the general Pokemon cycle where you give a generation long enough and now everyone is like nostalgic for it and they're like, oh my gosh, it's like, but you hated this when it came out. I don't know what changed. It's cool to like it now, I guess.
Time
Gen 5
changes
cool.
all. Time changes all.
Except for Sock and Throw, they suck still.
The only thing I think that they missed on this was that they really should have just called this set Pokemon 156.
Yeah, you're probably right.
That.
You're probably right. Okay, let's wrap up here. We will still have a bonus segment for Patreon listeners or premium Apple Podcast listeners. So if you want ad-free episodes or longer episodes and you want that premium feed, you can either go to Patreon or if you're an Apple Podcast, you can hit like the premium button, and that will get you automatic longer episodes or and ad-free episodes. It's not or, you get both. You get the ads removed and you get longer episodes. So if you want 20 more minutes of double Bob squared, that is what we're getting afterwards.
Sign me up. I'll take my credit card, Steve. Let's go.
If you're watching on YouTube, we do have the video part on Patreon, if that's just your preferred. Yeah, we'll probably get Bob's thoughts on ZA and some other little stuff that we can talk about. Maybe we can compare the quality of Digimon card stock to the quality of Pokemon card stock. I bet Bob can talk. See, Bob's already. This is what you could be paying for. Bob is revved up now.
You better strap yourself in, people, because it's gonna be off the chain.
But if you're on the premium feed, that'll start after credits. If you're not on the premium feed, thank you so much for listening and making it to the end. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Bob. We will see you all next week. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
super effective.
Super Garchomp in my MySpace top 8, please. Thank you.
Top 8. Wow.
What
a time. What a time that was.
Want an exact copy of the previous Legends.
Sure.
Like, if we had this Legends game, it was going to be the same exact thing where it's all about just catching and the battling aspect is weak. I might have checked out earlier after playing the game. Mm-hmm. But I think with this one, since we're kind of flipping the script where